So Rick has been pushing his nose in that glass for like
Man,
20 minutes. So why don't you get started with you, Rick?
Sure. So I missed last week, and I feel bad about it, but I got invited by Total Wine to sit in on a meet and greet beer class with Jake Leinenkugel from Leinenkugel, and obviously, hence the name. And it was really cool. About an hour and a half, almost 2 hours, listening to him talk about basically growing up as a Leinenkugel, what it was like to grow up in such a massive brewing company that's still to this day very popular and makes pretty solid beer. So I missed last week, but the week before when we did Pale Ales, I did Pale 31 from Firestone-Walker. Last week I was going to do Union Jack, which is the IPA from them, and tonight I have the Double Jack, which is their double IPA. And I'm smelling it because I haven't had this beer in quite a while, but I'm smelling it because I'm getting almost like a fruity, almost pineapple aroma. And the flavor is not pineapple whatsoever, but it's just unbelievably balanced, and just there's no way you would think it was almost 10% alcohol and you could just drink a ton of this stuff. And it's a fantastic flavor. The mouthfeel is thick, and I don't want to say chewy because it's not quite that thick, but it's got just a fantastic mouthfeel. And I'm just a huge fan of this beer. And I've online, especially Twitter in the past, I've kind of dogged Firestone-Walker a little bit about their limited release beers. I'm not a huge fan of the majority of those, like Velvet Merkin or Parabola this year was good, but in the past I've not been a big huge fan.
You have issues, man.
You got serious issues.
You got serious issues, man.
Get over it. Get over it. Walk it off.
Their daily release stuff, like, you know, I mean, looking like comparing Velvet Merkin and Velvet Merlin, I prefer Merlin over that, but like, I mean, the Double Jack is just fantastic, and they've started canning a lot of their stuff, and I'll be curious to see, and I think that'd be a fun side-by-side to do, like the Union Jack bottle versus canned fresh, but it's a fantastic beer, 4 out of 5 for me on Untapped, and just the aroma is fantastic on this thing. Yeah, and that was one of the things I wanted to say when we were starting to talk about it, was they're not necessarily, like they're hoppy, obviously, but they're always, in most cases, so balanced that you don't think about them being as hoppy as they really are. And a good example of that is the Lagunitas Hop Stupid, which is over 100 IBUs, but you would never know it. Like, if you did a blind taste test and handed me a glass of it, I'd be like, oh, yeah, that's good IPA, and never realize that it's got so much hop presence. And same thing with this. Like, I would almost say that the Union Jack is as hoppy, if not hoppier, than the Double Jack. But the Double Jack's got almost like a buttery finish. Like, the mouthfeel just leads to just a lingering, subtle hop flavor. And I'll stop talking here in a second. But to answer the hops question, they use bittering hops. They use Warrior, Columbus. They use Cascade, Centennial, and Amarillo, Cascade, and Simcoe. So they got a lot of hops going on in this